大家好，歡迎收聽 PHK 阿俊，繼續玩呢隻 The Long Dark。上集我哋就去開完電啦，而家翻嚟研究所。Jace 佢帶緊我哋唔知去邊度，但係明明情況好緊急，佢就喺度散步，可唔可以快啲？嚼你啊嗱嚇嚼你啊嗱！我而家好似壓飯咁，我想講。咦？原來瞄準有時間限制，我頭先都冇留意嘅添。
Could they have built a more confusing space?
我唔得閒同你傾偈，你行啊！你識唔識點樣行快啲啊？我孭住幾十 kilo 嘢都行得快過你啊！你想點？你快啲啊！我決定要推佢行。同埋呢度黑掹掹啊！你又好黑啊！行快啲啦，唔該。唉，我不如行得快過佢啊。
This place is old, but it has good bones.
我估係行呢邊，冇錯，我決定快過佢。黐線，邊有咁？喂，你唔好擋住條路啊！你行得咁鬼慢，快過佢先。快過佢嘅話，其實佢會唔會係卡住嘅咧？呢度調節室啦嘛，應該係呢度咯喎。你可唔可以行快啲？好啦，嚟到呢個鈴木調節控制室。
Feels like the whole facility is slowly waking up. That aurora is a real mystery. It's almost like magic, really.
唉，我都係攞翻盞燈出嚟啦。哇！呢個好似就嚟爛咁喎，定係冰嚟㗎？點解咁奇怪嘅？
Imagine the logistics involved in building this facility. Staggering.
佢似喺個山度鑿，但係又未鑿晒咁喎。唉，我唔想理佢，行快兩步先。哇！條路好長啊！你哋有嘢趕住做，可唔可以行快兩步咧？唉，真係攞命！
The people who built this had no idea how important it would be someday.
係啊，好重要啊！重要嘅嘢就唔該行快兩步。咦喎，前面青 B B 嘅點解？我聽到啲 B B 聲添喎！哇，有極光啊！熄咗佢先。有極光嘅位置，梗係咁樣睇啦，係嘛？喂，你到未啊？等緊你過嚟解說㗎。究竟我要嚟做咩啫？
Well, there she is, the Suzuki Radio Telescope. Isn't she beautiful? Lit up by the aurora, no less. I've never seen it so bright.
It's massive.
Let's hope we're not too late.
好啦，咁我哋要做咩咧？
Okay, time to get this party started. There's a fair bit of interference. Keyboard is glitching a bit. Can't be helped, we're way past long shots at this point. Loading the program. Now.
Are you in place? I'm seeing some spikes on the sensors at the peak.
Shouldn't be long now.
What do you need me to do?
Okay, this is the tricky part. I'm gonna have to run the program and update the code in real time to modulate for the aberrant magnetic field and...
Jace.
So I'll be busy focusing on that. Meanwhile, once the telescope grabs a signal, we'll need to follow the source. The new data will help flush the buffers, and the data in the buffers will get pushed to Dr. Atwood's workstation for processing. It's an archaic system, but best I could do with 30-year-old technology.
I'm still not clear on what you need me to do.
You're a pilot, right?
Yep.
Know how to adjust your heading to follow a radar beacon?
Yeah, I have a pretty good idea.
Same principle. Grab the big metal wheels at the base of each leg of the telescope sensor assembly. You'll see a bunch of numbers around the edge. When my program outputs specific bearings, I'll shout them to you. And then you have to find a way to match those bearings as quickly as you can.
Sounds easy enough.
The timing has to be perfect.
Got it.
Like, exactly perfect.
I hear you loud and clear.
Did you say you got here after crashing your plane?
Don't start.
Get ready. I'm seeing some power spikes. Something big. It's happening.
開始緊啦。
Get ready, Mackenzie.
OK。調整望遠鏡，睇地圖。點調整啊？我係咪要出去其實？
What a mess.
Look for the wheel, Mackenzie.
揾轉喎！我想講我仆親，我可唔可以好老四扶先？我仆親啊！我扭親腳啊！點樣出去啊，大佬啊？得嗰邊嘅啫喎，可唔可以撈四扶啊？不如咁啊，我哋撈四扶啊，好唔好？我撈四扶。好啦，撈翻四扶翻嚟，我哋有15分鐘嘅時間。仲有呢度啊，小心啲啊！黐線係陰人嘅，你睇下。
What a mess.
Look for the wheel, Mackenzie.
我哋要揾個碌，揾個碌。呢度有冇碌啊？冇喎，即係嚟呢度啦。哇！黐線㗎，邊個設計呢度㗎？要咁樣捐窿捐罅啊？唔係喎，因為嗰邊塞住咗啫喎，嗬。唉，想快都冇得快。個碌喺邊啊？喂！碌
Here we go.
得
141 degrees.
141。喂！過咗，要翻轉頭。咦，咪住先，141喎，哇！我要轉好多先到喎，係咁扭，141，快啲，20、30，跟住要慢啲啦，41。OK， 跟住咧，跟住要點啊？跟住嚟呢邊，嗱佢冇指示，我捐入嚟先。
Look for the console with the big wheel on it. Come on, Mackenzie.
How am I supposed to find anything down here? There's gotta be a way through here.
我扭咗141啦，唔係咩？
The dish is huge.
呢度
That's it. We're getting close now. Keep going. Okay, 67 degrees.
67度，得我哋要向左扭。哇，有排都未到67啦！快手，扭快啲，好慢喺度。可能因為呢個嘢太重，所以咧就咁慢都唔頂。過咗，得啦，67度。
Jace? Everything okay over there?
Don't worry. Keep going. Last bearing incoming. Come on, you sweet, sweet program. Don't let me down.
最後一個，仲唔係呢度
156, Mackenzie. Get to 156 before the whole thing blows.
收到，156度。156，哇！有排都未到啊！快啲！我已經好用力㗎啦吓，差唔多啦。2、3、4、5，過咗156。
Now, Mackenzie.
掂啦！我變電親啦！
Mackenzie!
着火喎，爛晒喎你啲嘢，你個嘢壞咗啊，點算啊？
The program?
She did the most any program can hope to do. Her job. Now let's hope Dr. Atwood got what she needed. Because this gear is toast.
Oh. 喂，就算 EMP 都冇你咁勁㗎係嘛？
It's coming now. All the data just flooding out of the buffers. It worked. God damn it, it worked.
Oh, thank goodness. I'd hate to have to restart my PhD.
You did brilliant work, my girl. Absolutely brilliant. We just need to keep the data flow, ensure it comes in a continuous flow, uninterrupted.
How long before the data is ready for analysis?
These are old systems, and it takes a while for them to crunch through the numbers. It'll be hours before we'll...
冇電喎。
Well, shit.
What the hell just happened?
It's not the power this time. Geothermal plants still showing up green on the board.
咁即係咩啊？
Some kind of overload, or emergency shutdown.
What now?
Now we do this the old-fashioned way. We start combing through the numbers.
I'll get us some light.
我有油燈啊，要唔要幫你啊？
Do you see anything that would indicate the level of K-index we might expect to...
Shush, girl. Let me read.
嗱，我幫你唔到㗎吓。
Do you want me to grab a printout and I...
Could it be a G10?
Is there something I can do to...
Aha! Here it is. Here it is.
There it is.
What do you see?
It can't be. That silly old British bastard was right. He just never knew how right he was. Why did it have to happen in our time?
British bastard? Please explain.
係咯，講人話啊。
For you to fully understand would take more time than we have. I'd have to go back more than 150 years.
I like a good story.
I think we deserve some answers.
好啦，我哋喺度聽故事啦。
Very well. In 1865, a British scientist and naval officer was tasked with supporting the research of a scientific team, seeking to create a kind of communication that could travel over the air. The Admiralty felt that dependence on the telegraph was holding them back. This Navy man was inspired by stories he'd heard about the Carrington event 6 years prior. At the time, the largest geomagnetic event ever recorded. He had heard that the abundance of static electricity in the air had powered telegraph lines, even after the operators had unplugged them. Fires broke out due to this geomagnetically induced current. It got him thinking. This scientist's research led him all over the world, and he began to piece together a picture of the Earth's geomagnetic profile, and something about the operation of the sun and its effects on the Earth's magnetic field. Remember, this was 150 years ago, and well before they had the equipment to prove any of this. But a theory began to take shape in his mind that suggested the sun went through cycles of geomagnetic activity, waxing and waning, but sometimes spiking inexplicably in dramatic ways.
即係太陽風啦。
The historical record held evidence of many of these events, but in pre-industrial times, the impacts were more subtle. Even in the mid-1800s, there wasn't enough power infrastructure to really feel the impact of these spikes, so it wasn't of grave concern. But the growing dependence on telegraphy suggested this shouldn't be ignored. And this scientist predicted that if the level of electrification continued to grow exponentially, as was predicted, this would create a serious vulnerability that could be exploited by their enemies at great cost to industry and society at large. He was given a secret commission from the Royal Geographical Society to prove his theories and to come up with a strategy that would ensure the British were in the strongest position to exploit any such geomagnetic disaster. After another decade of research, this scientist began to suspect that this geomagnetic current that existed all around them could impact many other things, and more deeply. He began to study migration patterns of animals and gathered evidence of whale strandings, bird die-offs, and other unexplained mysteries relating to animals' innate abilities to navigate vast distances with great precision without the benefit of modern tools or equipment.
即係話佢嘅研究係靠人腦做，都幾勁喎。
Eventually, he knew he had to travel north to the Arctic to really test his theories. And in December of 1865, he took a ship and a crew of Navy scientists and mariners in a specially commissioned research vessel, a modified bomb mortar ship, fashioned after the Terror and Erebus from the ill-fated Franklin expedition. His ship was named the HMS In Tenebris, and he took it and a crew far above the Arctic Circle, along with an array of unique recording equipments he had crafted himself, with the hope of collecting data to support his theories. This scientist and Navy man was Captain Edmund Wintermute.
The word in Mackenzie's secret message.
It was a person's name.
其實係咪真係有㗎？
Wintermute's mission was to collect data near the Arctic Circle, and he and his crew were also tasked with the goal of resupplying a small Navy research outpost that had been set up as part of Wintermute's program the year before. Some of the crew on Wintermute's ship was designated as relief for the outpost's crew, and Wintermute was meant to bring the replaced men home to their families. A few days away from the Arctic Circle and 2 days from their destination, Wintermute recorded increasingly active aurora and other geomagnetic activity around the ship, including St. Elmo's fire. But he also noticed something else. As evidenced by their journals, many of the crew were having trouble sleeping, with some experiencing full-blown insomnia that worsened as they traveled further north. Some were also beginning to forget things, their journal entries occasionally slipping into childlike language or outright gibberish. 2 days out from their destination, the night watch rang the ship's bell to announce a man had gone overboard. The man, an experienced mariner, had been observed to simply walk off the deck of the ship. By all rights, a calm and dependable sailor. This event shook the crew's morale. Wintermute did his best to keep them focused, but he was still inexperienced as a ship's captain, always more the scientist than sailor or Navy man, and he could tell the men were increasingly becoming anxious, even distrustful.
Walked off the ship and straight into the water.
Exactly, but things got even stranger after that. When they arrived at their destination, a small island surrounded by sea ice, they found the Navy observation camp that Wintermute had set up the year before completely abandoned. The shelters were mostly destroyed, the relentless Arctic winds having shredded their canvas. The sled dogs were killed, some seeming to have been eaten. Many of the men were found dead, their bodies frozen in their beds, some showing signs of having been attacked or murdered.
Yikes.
Keep in mind, the Franklin expedition was still fresh in the public imagination during this time, including all the rumors of cannibalism. Wintermute could tell some of his men were nearing their breaking point, so he sent them back to the ship and took only a small group of trusted officers with him to search the rest of the small island. On the far northern side, in an icy bay, they found the remainder of the outpost crew, their bodies frozen solid in the ice. Some appear to have walked in and simply frozen in place.
Jesus. And I thought we had it bad.
因為唔夠北面啊，我哋。
Not wanting to completely abandon his research, but also recognizing the fragility of his situation, Wintermute kept a small group of trusted and hardy men with him. He offloaded sufficient provisions and equipment for them to survive up to 6 months, and sent the crew and the In Tenebris back to London, with the request that they send a rescue ship to pick them up.
That's dedication. But what does it have to do with our data?
係咯，
I'm getting there. Months later, the relief ship returned to find only Wintermute remained. He had left books of scrawled notes, data he had gathered using his novel devices, sketches and observances of the men he had kept with him, and a detailed diary outlining their slow but progressive decline into a kind of fugue and madness. Wintermute was accused of murdering the men, brought back in shackles, and once back in England, summarily court-martialed and committed to a sanatorium. His equipment, journals, and the data therein were hidden by the Admiralty, and the Royal Geographical Society renounced Wintermute's membership and denounced his research, claiming he had gone rogue. His work disappeared for over a century, until I dug it up.
Why haven't we ever heard this story before?
Exactly the question you should be asking. I had encountered odd and inexplicable references to his research, but always leading to dead ends. I finally managed to get my hands, through no small feat of my own canny research and a dogged determination, I might add, on a few of his earlier papers. It wasn't easy, believe me. A woman, let alone a woman who isn't white, had to work 10 times harder to get access to this material, but I managed to do it. I spent the next 20 years piecing it together, tracing the fingerprints of Wintermute's theory, collecting his data, analyzing, and then adding to his research with research of my own using increasingly modern equipment. And the more I dug, the more data I collected, the more worried I became. Because not only had Wintermute's original fear come to pass, that the world had become dependent on the electrical grid, a technology that would easily be taken offline should any Carrington-level geomagnetic event occur. But even worse, that the Carrington event of 1859 was like a tiny spark compared to the massive, overwhelming storm that might come in the future. I started to talk to others about this, but of course people thought I was crazy. They ignored me at first, then started to denounce me, and then ostracize me. Until I eventually found myself so far on the fringes of accepted science that I was entirely isolated, with nobody to trust, nobody who would believe me. I lost my job, my marriage failed, all my academic credentials were thrown into question.
Ah, this explains something about your reputation, Dr. Atwood.
Nobody would believe me. Except for John, who you met as Jeremiah, Mr. Mackenzie. He was a young corporal in the Canadian military when I first met him. Handsome, as I recall. It's a long story on top of an already long story, so I won't tell it all here. But the important thing was he was stationed at a radar observation post along the dew line, far north, and started to observe some strange things of his own. He followed the trail, which eventually led him to me. And when we got together, there were sparks, I tell you. To be believed by someone, it was like a drug. We worked to uncover more data, and he kept his eyes and ears open, using his military connections to gather more information carefully. And he moved up the ranks, but always stayed under the radar, putting his career aspirations aside to ensure he could stay close to the facilities we needed access to. But it was never going to last. At one point, he was caught accessing some classified data shared with our NATO allies, and they thought he was spying for the Russians, so they put him in military prison. And we lost touch. Years later, he actually found me here, at the radio telescope. He was a changed man. His fire was gone. They'd somehow broken him. He said he still believed, but he couldn't be part of this journey. And that's the last time I saw him. That was more than 20 years ago. I can't believe he's still alive. And on Great Bear, no less.
You can't possibly believe that's some kind of coincidence. Jeremiah being here.
What are you suggesting?
Isn't it obvious? He stayed here for you, to be close to you, to keep watch.
He's been here ever since, close by, in case you might need him. And as soon as he saw the aurora and what it could do, he knew. He saw the signs. When I met him, he was nearly killed by a bear, and when I left him, he was still not much more than half alive. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have come here himself. But he sent me to warn you. He made me promise. And he knew by then what that promise would mean.
He sent you in his place. And it's a good thing he did, because now we have the final piece. This is the answer we've been looking for all these years.
好啦，謎底係咩呢？
Do we finally have it?
I think we do, dear.
I'm not following.
All my research here, and Jace's since she joined me, has been to try to anticipate, to get ahead.
Ahead of what?
The next big Carrington-level event.
The thing Wintermute spent his life also searching for. And others, lesser scientists, industrialists, crackpots, even here on Great Bear. The island's unique geologic strata and northern latitude created a perfect test bed for geomagnetic research. Even a few decades ago, a German industrialist named Rudiger. But that's not important.
Dr. Atwood, do we know the terminus?
We do, my dear.
And when is it coming? Do we have time to prepare?
No, dear.
唔係發生緊啦咩嚇？
It's already too late. It's already started.
What does that mean?
It means we're in a new geomagnetic normal. What you've seen so far is really just the beginning. Things will get much worse from here on out.
But how long will it last? Carrington was over in a few days, weeks at most.
Oh, this is much bigger than Carrington.
How long, Doctor?
I hesitate to say. With the data I have, I can only offer a vague range. 40 to 400.
Hours?
Days?
Years. Wintermute tried to warn us 150 years ago, but nobody listened. And now we're at the very beginning of a geomagnetic storm, a disaster of such proportion we've not seen its like in recorded history. The power grid is down. Everything humanity has built over the last 100 years or more, based on technology, electronics, everything based on the integrated circuit, electricity, it's gone. It's all gone. Nature is changing, and soon we'll begin to see the impact on people. We won't emerge unscathed. And this period of darkness will last from 40 to 400 years. A new dark age. The long dark. And what humanity will exist on the other side of it,
原來驚咩係咁樣嚟啊？
I cannot even begin to guess.
Then I need to warn her. I need to get to Perseverance Mills.
You're talking about your ex-wife, the doctor?
Astrid will be there. And she needs what's in this hard case.
What's in the case, and what kind of doctor?
She's a researcher. Insomnia, memory loss, fugue states. I think she stole some experimental meds. She's trying to help a friend, a child that's suffering from some mysterious illness. I'm not sure.
Go to her. Regardless of what's in the case, you can bring her here. Her and anyone else you care about. We have to think about the survival of the species now.
吓？
But what can we possibly do here?
Oh, Jace, my silly girl. Have you forgotten what this facility is built on?
嗱，方舟啊呢度。
I just know it's some government thing.
Before it was repurposed for use with the radio telescope, this was an observation post for monitoring satellite communications. Mostly American, Russian, some Chinese, Cold War stuff.
But why here? Who would think we'd be spying from here?
Exactly. A few floors below us are the magnetically shielded dorms and storerooms designed for the folks who used to live and work here back in the Cold War. The whole place is basically a big bunker.
Right. And the team that built the geothermal plant left various supplies behind.
Exactly. There's probably enough dry rations and assorted supplies there to feed dozens of people for a couple of years.
Survival of the species, huh?
I'm afraid so.
Then I better get to it.
黐線，得你幾條有物種存咗你冇病係嘛？嗱好啦，我諗呢一章咧，照計應該差唔多完㗎啦，因為都已經講到咁嚴重嘅，交代埋個古仔啊，又講地磁嘅影響咁樣啦。不過我覺得其實隻 game 呢一度佢用嘅古仔幾有深度，因為其實頭先一邊聽咧，我就一邊問咗 AI， 如果唔係邊有 search 得咁快係咪？咁佢又講咗咧，其實頭先講嘅嘢咩威靈頓事唔係卡靈頓事件啊，跟住北極送藥啊，其實都係由一啲現實發生過嘅類似事件啦做參照，所以其實當你喺啲大話裡面滲雜一啲真相咧，聽落去就會好似係真嘅咁樣。咁頭先聽落去嘅嘢就變得非常之合理。睇下先，我哋而家有啲咩可以做？嗱，我覺得出去前咧，其實因為剩低嘅時間都幾多下，應該我覺得好大機會一出門就會去下一章，咁所以咧，我應該趁而家做下整備，將啲可以維修嘅嘢維修咗佢先。咁又唔使話去到下一章我就要花時間去做整備啊。咁喺我整嘅中途，我就講一講頭先睇到嘅嘢啦。首先，卡靈頓事件係有真實嘅科學歷史，咁啊講關於全球電報失靈啊。咁起因呢，就係強烈嘅太陽風。咁其實咧近年呢一年左右啦，太陽風都幾強烈㗎，所以喺啲高緯度地區咧就會好經常睇到極光嘅。咁但係紅島就係講緊溫哥華同埋加拿大嘅一啲地貌啦，裡面大崩壞。呢啲咁樣嘅咩資源助紂啊、經濟衰退，其實都係一啲發生緊嘅社會現象嚟嘅。不過就簡化咗擺咗喺 game 裏面。咁另外頭先講到嘅北極送藥就係1925年洛姆血清接力啊，咁發生喺阿拉斯加一個偏遠小鎮上面，因為爆發咗致命嘅白喉病啦，有好多小朋友好危險，同埋咁啱寒冬，所以咧就有20個雪橇犬嘅駕駛員同埋150隻 Husky 組成接力隊，喺零下45度嘅寒風之中，用5日半將啲血清送咗成1000公里，救咗所有嘅人。咁呢個富蘭克林探險隊呢，係1845年真實存在嘅，一共用咗2艘船，上面129個船員呢，都因為啲飢餓啊、寒冷、壞血病，同埋最重要嘅係，當時罐頭用鉛做㗎，咁就鉛中毒，所以會有啲幻覺之類嘅嘢。所以其他人其實就唔一定係俾啲極光影響，而係罐頭中毒咯。大家睇我哋成日食罐頭就知啦。咁 Wintermute 呢個人名咧，應該就係虛構出嚟㗎啦。OK， 整備完畢，哇！不過都仲係好重。唔好理啊，照出去啦。其實我哋而家係要去邊嘅咧？應該前行就係㗎咯喎。哇！你睇下出邊啲極光。哇！如果可以親眼睇到極光就好啦。其實我真係好想睇下。我見到嗰啲，喂，做咩事？做咩事？停咗嘅喂！嚇死我！原來係轉章第3步，不傷害任何人。啱啱想講就話見到咧有啲旅行團就去，我唔記得去北極定南極啦。不過實在太貴，成20萬，去足成個月，即係退咗休先至諗嘅嘢。去返女主角嗰邊啦，嗰班監犯。
This is your patient. And in case you're thinking of letting him die, consider this little extra incentive to keep him alive.
Astrid. You don't need to do that.
I need you focused.
I'm a doctor. I'll do whatever I can to help your friend.
He's not my friend. He's my son.
Oh?
He dies, she dies, and then you die.
He's lost a lot of blood. And his injury looks infected. There's a fair bit of bruising around the torso, suggesting there may be internal injuries. Tell me what happened to him.
There was an explosion. Then a lot of heavy stuff fell on him.
How did you know to come here?
We heard on the radio.
Shut it, Vachon. You always did talk too much.
你唔講我幫你唔到㗎噃。
You never mind that. Just fix Donner.
For internal injuries, there's not much I can do with the equipment here. It's too rudimentary. Normally, he'd be airlifted to a regional hospital.
You'd better figure something out.
I need some better gear, like an emergency trauma kit.
Well, you'd better figure out where you can find something like that, and soon.
The search and rescue station. They need to keep it stocked as emergency backup for remote communities like Perseverance. There's medical supplies there.
Where is it?
Along the old logging roads, north of Desperation Bay. Very rough terrain. It won't be a fast trip on foot.
Well then, Doctor, you better get going.
I'll get the supplies and I'll be right back. And then we'll get Freya out of here.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Doctor. Heller, go with her.
Boss!
Shut up and get going. A little company to make sure you come back. And remember, Donner goes, and your friend won't be looking quite so healthy when you get back.
Be careful, Astrid.
你哋咁多個大男人，你唔可以和佢？
Look, we've been traveling for hours. I'm not going any further.
My friend warned us it was a long walk to the SAR station.
I'm freezing. Gotta warm up before I go any further.
I guess we can stop for a bit.
Listen, lady. Hey, look, a train.
哦，我哋可以搭火車啊！嗱，好啦，今集就暫時玩到嚟呢度，下集先至再去揾呢個創傷急救包，同埋點解我咁重嗰啲嘢，40 kilo 起身，我帶咗啲咩起身啊？喂，睇下先，點解我會有咁多嘢起身嘅？哇，真係好多嘢起身喎！咁好啦，咁我哋下集再執嘢先再繼續啦。中意嘅朋友記住 like 同埋 share 俾朋友一齊睇啦。多謝各位收睇 ，thank you，拜拜。